Hey everyone, Mika here, and welcome to the second video in the Concept Cars Reborn series. This is the first video where we'll actually get into designing our cars, and finally enough yapping about why we're using Fusion and why forms, particularly for our concept cars. It's time to actually get modelling and have a bit of fun. So hopefully, if you have used Fusion before, you understand a bit how Fusion works. If not, take some time to have a look around, get used to it. But really, it's all going to be quite new to you anyway if you haven't used forms before. But just as a basic outline of how Fusion works, we go from left to right typically. So we start with a sketch, and then we go and make a 3D model like this sketch, and then we tend to go on and modify these bodies to make them more unique and more applicable to our particular need. But in this case, you'll see that there's a bit of a different button here in the design workspace, and it's this form button here. So we're going to go ahead and click on it, and we enter a different environment called the Forms environment. You might think there's not much going on here, but if you actually have a bit of look and modify, you can see there's quite a bit to get into. But I think it's a good place to start is to start with the box tool. Now the box tool is what I've used for both my concept cars so far. Doing this, I think it's the best way to start off. I think if you have a solid sort of box shape, you can then mold into the profile of your car. I think that's the best way of doing things, but of course there's other ways of doing things too, which I will run through too. So let's start with the box first. Click on the button and then press on the plane you want to draw on. I'm going to say the XY plane here. Then you want to pick your center point. I'll pick the origin in this case, and I'll give it some value, let's say 3000 mil in length, and then press tab here to change it to 1200 in the width. Click, and now we've got a form. If you haven't used forms before, you probably will notice that it looks a bit weird. You might have expected some sort of cuboid shape because that's what our profile was. But forms are a bit different. You can see it's a bit in the sort of shape of a tablet of some sort. But you can see that the lines here separate it into faces in the length, the width, and the depth, so the height. And we can change these. I have using these painful arrows here, or by using our numpads. I'm going to put 4 on the length, 4 on the width, and leave the height at 2 because it's not as high. Yeah, actually maybe I'll do a bit more now. Let's leave it at 2 for now. That's how I usually start my models. Simple, and you can see there if you change the amount of faces, the curvature becomes a bit less extreme. Let's press OK, and we've now made our first form. So hopefully that's pretty easy to follow along with. I will also show you how to do something a bit different as well, if you so wish. I just use the I button here to hide the body. Let's create a form from a sketch. Again, let's select the plane. I'll select the YZ plane here. Draw something a bit more complicated. Let's use a spline tool here. Press OK, and then use this line tool here to finish that shape off, that profile. Again, this is just a random piece of geometry here. Press finish sketch to finish our sketch, and then now we've got a 2D face we can now want to make a form out of. So how do you do this? We press on create, we find the extrusion button, press on the face, press on the profile, and pull out how far we want to pull it out to, and we can always change the amount of faces it's made up of. You can probably tell that the curvature we've made, even though that's quite good and quite manageable, if you add more faces, it aligns slightly closer to the profile. Obviously, if you add too many, it gets out of hand and the computer can't take it. So I recommend staying at quite a low value. Cool. We've got a shape here, but it is impossible because it hasn't got any thickness. If you look on the side again, it's just a line here. So we want to try and thicken it. There is a very well-named tool here called thicken. Underneath modify, click on your shape, and extrude out. You can also see here, if my face is in the way, I'll move it. We can change the thicken type from sharp to soft, but I like keeping it on sharp for now. And the direction as well, that can be changed, but that is not of much worry to us. So let's press OK. And now we've got another form. I didn't really see how you would start your model with this, but I think there was quite a different way of maybe making a form. Personally, I'd stick with a box, but it's up to you.